Hi everyone, Namaste, and welcome to this video in which I'm going to share the experiences and explanations which I currently think can really help us to deal with difficult situations in general, and especially when facing adversity, with the ultimate end goal to help us to further maximize our own unique talents and abilities, to maximize our potential, and become the best version of ourselves. My name is jari'sTotelos. Thank you oh so much for being here, and thank you in advance for thinking about these topics, for sharing your own perspectives on them, and for helping us to expand our collective knowledge. Now, I really wanted to do a video on adversity, mainly because adversity is likely something no one can avoid from happening. Because we probably all know people who've experienced things like financial struggle, substance abuse, bullying and harassment at school or work, or the sudden death or sudden serious illness of someone we have loved dearly. And these forms of adversity can often result in detrimental effects on our potential, such as extreme sadness or even depression, which my mother has been struggling with for 1.5 years now. And myself, I think I've gotten close to feeling depressed as well, in situations where my mother got depressed when I was in my second year of high school, along with me struggling with puberty and thinking I looked way too ugly. And particularly the situations where my dad was suddenly diagnosed with stage 4 terminal cancer, and me feeling very sad, confused and angry as to why these things kept happening to me. But then, what I found is that I ended up dealing with these situations much better, by using the growth mindset to always try my best to maximize my potential, no matter what. And I currently think that the reason for why this mindset worked so well for me is because it likely framed my mind to look for opportunities in every situation, including difficult ones like these. And that this mindset also really helped me to be open to seeing the potential bright side of every situation, and that it probably then also enabled me to use my creativity to find ways to make the best of these situations and become wiser and stronger as a result. And in this video, I will go more in depth on why I currently believe this, by not only using an example in my life of how I dealt with my dad getting terminal cancer, but also by using the story of singer-songwriter Pat Monahan, who had lost his beloved mother and the most important person in his life to cancer, but was then able to come up with his band's eventual breakthrough hit single, Drops of Jupiter, which delivered Pat and his band from years of obscurity into years of fame and recognition, and earning the band even a Grammy for Best Rock Song, which also was the beginning of a time of healing for Pat. So, without further ado, let's get deeper into these perspectives. So firstly, regarding adversity in my own life, when my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer, I then suddenly had to think about a future without him being there to help me with life's problems, such as money and finance, career paths, and him driving me to places such as tennis tournaments. And so at first I felt very sad and started crying for a while, also partially because his diagnosis of sudden terminal illness didn't make any sense to me whatsoever, since I thought he had always lived a very healthy lifestyle, as he had never smoked, he never drank a lot of alcohol, he was always cycling to work and ate just a normal diet. And therefore my first thoughts came down to me saying that life was simply unfair, and I started complaining why these bad things just kept happening to me. But then after a while, I think because of me subconsciously knowing that I needed to figure out how to deal with this situation the best I could, I started seeing some bright sides, such as me potentially using the inheritance of the house as well as some money and use them to create a place where people could come and also try to become the best version of themselves, just like I started to do a year or so prior. and that I could rely on some of my dad's friends for helping with finance and with driving to tournaments, and that I needed to keep doing my best to improve in these areas as much as possible, to hopefully be able to do these myself one day. And perhaps even the most important bright side I saw was that him becoming so sick was a clear sign and wake-up call that I didn't understand health well enough yet, and that I wasn't even close to understanding what health was. And so I also saw this as an opportunity to make his health, and therefore also my own health, a priority. And so I wanted to look for as many new perspectives on health as I could, to try my best to prevent this cancer from happening to me and to prevent it from happening to others as well. And this led me to finding out more about health topics such as high intensity interval training, diets like the ketogenic diet and plant-based diet, the effects of stress and mental health, and the benefits of fasting. All of which then likely played a huge part in improving my own health and performance. And this mindset, to want to know as many perspectives on health as possible, is probably the biggest reason for me being here right now, making videos and feeling the happiest I've ever felt. And because of these reasons, I currently think that when we face difficult situations in general, and especially adversity, using a mindset to maximize our potential, to try to make the best of the situation, can help all of us to deal with them much more easily. And therefore, I also currently think that none of the things in life that happen to us are inherently positive or inherently negative, but that it's all about how we choose to interact with them. Because when we see them as an opportunity to learn and grow, we can then create something better eventually. And then, who knows what amazing new opportunities we can create from them. And then afterwards, in hindsight, the experience might not be as horrible as we previously thought, or could even end up being the best thing that ever happened to us. And I also currently believe that if we can do this in every situation, that is, we can turn any experience, no matter how horrible it seems at first, into something positive and use it as an opportunity to become stronger, then we are much closer to an emotional state of balance and peace of mind. Or as Nassim Nicholas Taleb has called it, being anti-fragile, by being able to gain things from this order. And I'm currently all but sure that this is the main reason why I am here now, making videos and feeling the happiest I've ever felt. And that this can help all of us to do the same. And finally, I also currently believe a great demonstration of the power of this mindset and of our subconscious mind to find creative solutions in these difficult situations is Pat Monahan's story of how he came up with his band's smash hit single Drops of Jupiter, after having lost his beloved mother and the most important person in his life to cancer, as we'll see in this video.
Tour of the cosmos.
That she's back in the atmosphere, the drops of Jupiter in her head.
Drops of Jupiter made Train superstars. And now for the first time, singer Pat Monahan reveals the touching inspiration behind this monster hit. It is the story of a strange dream and a life-changing loss.
She was the most important person in my life.
By the end of 1998, Train were barely a blip on the pop radar. Worse, after 5 long years on the road, singer Pat Monahan got tragic news. His mother was dying of cancer.
We were on tour.
when she was diagnosed, and it was before any of us could afford cell phones or anything. So we'd every gas station, Pat would go get on a payphone and be talking to his mother. It was rough.
In December '98, Pat's beloved mother died and was laid to rest in her native Pennsylvania.
She died of cancer because she smoked cigarettes. Those were her downfall was Coca-Cola and Winston's.
Despite his loss, Monahan had little time to grieve. By early '99, Train were hard at work on their second album, but after a year of studio sweat, the group's label felt they were still missing a breakthrough single.
It was the type of thing where the record companies pushes you and they're like, just give us another one, just one more, and let's hear what you got. And you're like, we're not good enough, we can't write a great song.
Still reeling from the death of his mother and under intense pressure, Pat Monahan retreated to Pennsylvania, little realizing that a smash song would come to him in his dreams.
I went to bed, and after just a few minutes I woke up and had the lyrics or words at the time back in the atmosphere.
Now that she's back in the atmosphere, the drops of Jupiter in her head. So here's the true spin. That bizarre dream would spark both an unforgettable single and the beginning of a time of healing for Pat.
Obviously, loss of the most important person in my life was heavy on my mind, and the thought of, hey, what if no one ever really leaves? What if you just you're here but different, and the idea was, she's back here in the atmosphere.
1 week later, Pat headed to New York City, where he played his new song Drops of Jupiter for the president of Columbia Records, Donnie Ienner.
He literally reached into his bag and he says, I did this last night. I don't know if anybody's gonna like it.
Since the return of a stay on the moon.
When the bridge hit, he went,
I just kind of lost it. And I told him that was his Grammy record.
and man, I was on fire.
Released in 2001, the song Born in a Dream delivered Train from years of obscurity, becoming a top 5 hit and earning the band a Grammy for Best Rock Song.
Winning a Grammy was remarkable. Playing at the Grammys was unforgettable. I would also like to thank my mom.
3 years after that Grammy glory, Drops of Jupiter is still Train's most unforgettable song, born in the dead of night, but ultimately an affirmation of life.
It was an obvious connection between me and my mother because Drops of Jupiter was as much about me being on a voyage, trying to find out who I am too, through all of this. The best thing we can do by loss of love is find ourselves through it.
And on that beautiful note, which might even bring some teardrops of Jupiter to our eyes, I would like to end the video here. I really hope that this can help you to deal with these difficult situations. And as always, you can reach me through the usual ways. And if you'd like to share your own perspectives on dealing with difficult situations, please feel free to do so, because it can only help us to be able to deal with these difficult and likely inevitable situations more easily next time. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Namaste.